It's Friday, January 17th. Right now on 12 News at 10.
I'm Bianca Bono outside Maricopa County Superior Court, where we heard emotional statements from the families of 3 GCU students killed in a wrong-way crash.
Chaos at a busy shopping center in the West Valley. Surprise police say a man was stabbed in this parking lot. How a group of Good Samaritans helped take down the suspect.
Despite the sunshine this weekend, temperatures running below average, and we turn even colder next week. Details in my weather impact forecast.
How you can join a local brewery's effort to help victims of the Los Angeles wildfires.
12 News at 10 with Mark Curtis and Caribe Divine starts now.
We begin tonight with an emotional sentencing that played out today in a Phoenix courtroom. The wrong-way drunk driver who killed 3 GCU students back in 2022 will spend the next 22 years in prison. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Mark Curtis.
And I'm Caribe Divine. 12 News journalist Bianca Bono was in court today and shares what the victims' families said to the judge.
We'll never feel the ecstasy of true, pure happiness again because we will always have our guard up and we'll always lose our girl.
Parent after parent.
Every day we wake up, we don't have our girls.
Delivering devastating witness impact statements.
My job was to protect her from bad situations and bad people. People like you.
Trying to verbalize how the deaths of their daughters has altered their lives.
I feel like I have to live my life for them, but it hurts so bad to reach any milestone.
First, it was Hunter Balberti's parents, a 19-year-old girl from Hawaii.
When a child dies, it's not only their history, it's their future that is also lost.
In July last year, her mom unexpectedly received a letter Hunter had written in 2019 laying out her dreams.
I hope that the 10 years from now, me is a college graduate in nursing or maybe in the dentistry field.
Dreams that were all cut short because Vincent Ian Acosta chose to drive drunk. In October of 2022, for 15 miles, he drove the wrong way on the I-17 freeway, crashing into Hunter, Maggie Ogden, and Abriana Hoffman, GCU students on their way to the Grand Canyon to watch the sunrise.
Abriana was set to start college as a sophomore because of the dual credit she earned in high school. She had a plan to study marketing to get a real estate license and eventually move back home to raise her family.
Abriana's mother detailing the horrific ripple effect the loss of her daughter has had on their community. A friend of Abriana taking his own life after she died, unable to process his grief.
Her absence has left a very heavy sadness in our family. It has strained relationships with those closest to us.
And lastly were Maggie's parents.
She spent her weekends at home writing essays for scholarships, and she earned enough scholarships to pay for her college.
They had harsh criticisms for the state of Arizona, questioning their rights as victims and right to a speedy trial after waiting more than 800 days for this sentencing date. They also pointed to what they describe as a lack of safety measures when it comes to preventing wrong-way driving.
I believe the state of Arizona, Maricopa County, and our judicial system has failed these girls.
Loved ones of Acosta also spoke out.
Please believe me when I say that Vincent is deeply sorry for the unbearable pain he has caused.
And he addressed the court in his own words.
I'm not a monster, and that this one incident does not define who I am as a whole.
Acosta had agreed to a deal. He'd plead guilty to 3 counts of second-degree murder for a sentence of 18 to 22 years, a sentence the victims' families believed was far from adequate. Ultimately, the judge made his decision.
22 calendar years.
As Acosta will head to prison, Maggie, Abriana, and Hunter's families are left with their impossible grief, hoping something changes in our state so no family in the future has to bear their pain.
Once he's going the wrong way, those tires should be punctured. The camera should take a picture of that license plate. He should pull over, have to buy new tires, and get a fine. All of that would have stopped all of this.
Bianca Bono, 12 News.
All right, Bianca. Tonight, an investigation is underway after Phoenix police shoot and kill a man they say had a gun. The shooting happened about 11 o'clock this morning near 35th Avenue and Baseline. Police say it all started after officers responded to reports of people trespassing in a vacant home. Authorities say at that point, a man ran from officers, and during the foot chase, they noticed he had a gun. Police say an officer shot the man after he pointed his gun in their direction.
New at 10, a somber scene at Sky Harbor this evening as the body of a slain flight attendant returned home. American Airlines employees gathered on the tarmac next to the gate to honor their fallen colleague, Celinda Levno. The 71-year-old was killed in a random stabbing spree last weekend in downtown Denver. Levno worked as a flight attendant for 35 years and was based here in Phoenix. New at 10, Good Samaritans rushed to take down a man who police say stabbed someone at a busy West Valley shopping center.
12 News journalist Chase Golightly spoke with a woman who saw everything unfolding. He's in surprise with the details.
That witness tells me she was eating inside Fuzzy's Sports Grill when people started yelling. She then looked outside to see two men fighting when all of a sudden one of them pulled out a knife.
It was a brutal attack.
Linda Rucker was one of the first to call police after watching a man get stabbed in this parking lot.
Dialing up 911, and then I saw the knife and said, ambulance, quick.
How big was that knife?
It was a knife stabbing like that.
Rucker and her husband were eating at Fuzzy's Sports Grill near Grand Avenue and Reams Road when it happened.
We always stop and eat here.
They were walking into the restaurant when she says they noticed a man pacing back and forth just outside.
And then about 30 minutes later, we heard the commotion. He was pulling somebody out of a car.
She and Surprise Police say the two men were fighting when the man she saw earlier pulled out a knife and stabbed the other in the chest. Rucker says about 7 people rushed outside to take down the suspect, watching her waiter tackle him.
Did a leg lock, flipped him over, and held him down, not a chokehold, held him down, and then they got a zip tie from the restaurant and zip tied his legs, and they all just sort of tried to hold him down. And they kept saying, "Why are you doing this? Stop, stop."
Holding him until police arrived.
They had one male detained, and they were rendering aid to the male who had sustained the stab wound.
Sergeant Rick Hernandez with Surprise Police says the victim was rushed to the hospital with serious injuries. He says the suspect and victim knew each other, but at this time can't say what led to the fight. If those brave bystanders didn't step in, Hernandez says this situation could have been much worse.
These citizens felt that they needed to intervene for the safety of someone else.
Never seen so many brave men.
Their thoughts now turn to the man who was stabbed, hoping he will make it out alive.
We're just praying for the victim.
Now, I did speak with a worker here at Fuzzy's that says he was the one who took down the suspect. He didn't want to go on camera, but claimed the suspect was a former employee at the restaurant. He also doesn't know why he attacked the victim. We're in Surprise. Chase Golightly, 12 News.
Chase, thanks. Tonight, one person is dead and another in the hospital after they were hit in the parking lot of the Gilbert VA clinic. Police tell us the two were in the parking lot when one of them fell. That's when they were both hit by a car. One died at the scene. The other was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The driver did stay at the scene and is cooperating with investigators.
Governor Katie Hobbs has appointed an insider at the Arizona Department of Child Safety as the agency's new director. Catherine Patak, DCS's top lawyer, will take over on Monday. Hobbs was forced to demote former director David Lujan last year after losing a court case over her handling of agency appointments. Lujan's last day is January 31st. Patak is DCS's third director in Hobbs's 2 full years in office. Well, it'll be a cold start to the day tomorrow. Meteorologist Lindsay Riley is here with what we can expect. Hey, Lindsay.
Hey, yes, definitely jacket weather out the door. This is going to be a trend for at least the next week, but our morning lows will actually go down further early in the week. Right now, we're sitting at 56 after reaching a high today of 68, which is exactly where we should be. A little bit cooler up toward Bartlett Lake, sitting at 48. It's 44 in Cave Creek. Overnight lows tonight, 30s and low 40s. So a chilly start. These are the approximate 6 to 7 a.m. temperatures tomorrow morning. And then by 8 a.m. we're up to 42. Still jacket weather in the 50s till noon, and highs tomorrow will stay in the 60s. Very similar to today, light winds, lots of sunshine, but I'm tracking a cooling trend for us heading into early next week, minutes away. Mark?
All right, Linz, thanks. We have an update tonight on the 6 people who were airlifted to the Arizona Burn Center after a New Year's Eve fireworks explosion in Honolulu. The victims have started undergoing skin grafts and reconstruction. Doctors also say the debris from the explosion caused some of them to get infections, but thankfully they're all doing okay. Patients typically spend 2 days in the hospital for every 1% of their body that was burned. All of the victims had burns over 50% of their body or more. So doctors say they will be here for several months.
Tonight, crews continue to work around the clock to get a handle on the deadly wildfires burning in Los Angeles County. The Palisades fire is now 39% contained, and containment on the Eaton fire has reached 65%. But firefighters are worried that their progress could be halted by powerful Santa Ana winds that are set to make a return early next week. Meanwhile, Arizonans continue to find ways to help those that are reeling from the tragedy in Southern California.
As 12 News journalist William Pitts reports, a North Phoenix brewery is donating a part of its profits this week to help out the victims of the wildfires.
North Mountain Brewery just wanted to do anything to help. Yeah, they're a small brewery in North Phoenix, but they have an LA connection. What would you do? Can we sit out here?
Yeah, definitely.
If your city burned?
Hi.
If you're Candy Fragoso, whatever you can.
It's a beautiful scenery. Oh my God. It's all white and smoke now.
Candy's from LA. Her family's in LA, her high school, friends, her childhood.
We would drive after class. We'd go over there. That whole area is gone.
She watched it all burn.
It gave me goosebumps. Like, my heart was like, oh my God, I was there. I know that area. I know the Topanga, and we know the Malibu, just those little area, Pacific Palisades, it's all gone.
The LA fires decimated entire towns. Pacific Palisades, Altadena, flattened. If you don't know, it's not like these are separate cities. It would be like Ahwatukee or Peoria, burning to the ground. It's something Candy grew up knowing was possible, but never thought would happen.
Growing up there when I was in 12, 13 years, people prepare for a Santa Ana wind, but it was never this much.
So what can a small brewery and restaurant in North Phoenix do? They can cook and they can brew. Candy's donating 10% of her profits from this week to the American Red Cross. 10% is a big chunk for a small business, but worth it.
So hopefully we can make that small contribution, and it makes you feel better. You know, charities really make you feel better.
All of Candy's family are fine, though they still keep an eye on the hills for the next fire. And Candy does what she can with what she has. William Pitts, 12 News.
All right, well, thanks. Up next, TikTok turns to the White House to try to save it. What they want the Biden administration to do in order to avoid going dark on Sunday.
Plus, find out why the Department of Justice is suing Walgreens.
And the world's greatest collector car auction is back. What you need to know about Barrett-Jackson in Scottsdale. We'll be right back.
12 News Valley Cam is brought to you by Desert Diamond Casino.